is about a short series of the routing in JAX-RS, different kind of routing like static routing versus dynamic routing, using regex for routing and all that. So I hope that people get more around with less annotations, because I see lots of useless fancy add path annotations in beginner's code, which we can get rid of if you know how to use it correctly.
Oh, we got a recording going.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, now we're
thumbs up.
This is recorded. So again, things are happening live, and we are just figuring things out as we can, the best we can. So apologies to everyone. We chewed up quite a bit of time for our meeting today, but we're super excited that we will be able to record this session, and you will be able to view the recording at some point. And we're super happy that we have here everyone we expected in terms of the presenting the information we have for today. So as always, Ivar, Shabnam, and I are hosting the call. And we are here today with Kevin Sutter and David Blevins to talk a little bit more about what's going on with Jakarta E9. And then we have a super special guest that I will leave as a surprise for a little bit later. And we'll see why is that guest so special today. So to start with, Kevin, do you want to take over and present your slides? Or I'll just stop sharing.
Sure. Okay, how's that for a view?
Fine.
Okay, good, thanks. Yeah, so this will be kind of a short update because, you know, we just had a similar call with our Milestone 1 kickoff just, what, a couple of weeks ago. So I just kind of want, you know, since we have a little bit different audience with each of these calls, I thought I'd just get everybody up to date a little bit with that Milestone 1 release. And then some of the things that we're doing in support of the final release. So it shouldn't take too long. Covered that. So for those of you listening in on this call that were not part of the Milestone release party, I just wanted to say thank you. As we were driving towards Milestone 1, to be quite honest, we didn't think we were going to be able to make it. There were a lot of things that had to come together in order to meet that deadline for Milestone 1. And, you know, we just kept, the term around here is plugging away, just trying to continue to get each piece in place, and everything did complete on time for the Milestone 1 delivery. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that is listening and participating. We had a lot of different, you know, components across the world, many countries, many different teams, many different individuals participating on reviewing the spec, you know, participating on the code, providing input to the release. I mean, all kinds of different participation levels. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that, because that really helped. By completing this Milestone 1, you're going to be hearing from David in a little bit on how much that has helped with kind of setting the foundation so that other stack products can start to utilize Jakarta EE9. So for those of you that are interested, and these chart decks will be available for all of you. So all the links will be available. you can take a look at all of the specifications that we have in place for milestone 1. And from each of these links, and I'll just show this here. So from each of the specifications, you could go in, take a look at each of these, pick the milestone, deliverable, and on all of the components that make up Jakarta E9, you can take a look at the specification, the current state of the specification, the current state of the Java doc, the current state of the APIs, the TCKs. Many of them have compatible implementations that you can already start to play with. So there's a lot of information that, you know, this is the portal to get to all of the information on all of the different components within Jakarta EE9. So, you know, specifications in reality are pretty boring. You can't do much with a specification. You can read it and fall asleep. You can, you know, look at the APIs, but, you know, you really can't do much with it. It's not real. Well, wanted to point out there are a lot of different implementations. Now, these are not complete. Most of them, all of them, I mean, nobody has a complete set of software for Jakarta EE9 yet, but you can see that there are many different implementations that you can start to experiment with. So whether you are a Glassfish user or a Tomcat user or an Open Liberty user, there's a lot of different ways that you can start to go out, download what's currently available, take a look at it, provide input, whether the input is back to us as a platform that maybe something isn't quite right with the APIs, or maybe it's to the implementation and you need to feed back to Open Liberty that says, hey, I still see an issue. You think that something is working with servlets and something, you know, you're hitting a problem. So I would highly recommend that whatever environment your experience, you work with, you experiment with, try it out. It'll give you a good reading as to what we are doing with Jakarta EE9, especially related to the new namespace update. Okay, so what's left on the plate? I'm gonna go out here and take a look at our project board. So you can see on the left-hand side, milestone 1 ready. So all of the different components, we got to milestone 1. Now what we have to do is continue moving these epic issues across the final finish line. You can see here that we have several, well, a few, not several. We have 3 specification PRs that are pretty much ready for the final release. We're going through a preliminary vetting, a preliminary review of these before we do a ballot. So we still have many more to go, and I'm talking with the various teams and asking them where they're at. We'll be getting more and more into this stage where we have the PRs to review for the final specification. So I know we're very early in the Jakarta EE9 final release, but even seeing, you know, that we're getting 3 of them out there, to me, it's very good progress. It shows that many of the teams are getting ready to push something out. I was just talking with the WebSockets team this morning, and it sounds like they are very close to pushing out their final release and the PRs associated with it. So we are making progress, and we just have to continue to drive towards the September 16th date. And so then that next link here is about the schedule. And just to, for everyone's awareness, we are having one common area now to kind of keep track of the schedule. Thanks to Marcus to point out that we had multiple versions of this with a little bit of different information in all of them. So now we're consolidating down to this one location. We are driving towards the September 16th announcement. It will be tough, I'll be honest with you. Trying to get all of the specification PRs complete by September 16th is going to be difficult. But I thought the same thing with milestone 1, and we made that one. So until we hear otherwise, we're going to continue to drive for September 16th. And I guess just to mention this, the September 16th date, the reason that, you know, we knew that we wanted to have it sometime in September, and it coincides with the Jakarta 1 live stream. We have decided that the two of these items kind of are, you know, linked at the hip. So if something moves, the other one's going to move as well. And the one thing I did want to highlight, because of this September date goal that we're driving towards, one of the things that we determined is that we may have, you know, bitten off more than what we could chew for Java SE 11 support. Our original release plan said that the compatible implementations would have to be compliant on Java SE 11 first. Well, after discussions with the platform mailing list, the spec project leads mailing list, the steering committee, input from many different participants, we're kind of flipping that on its head, and we're going to stick with Java SE 8. Now, for those of you that didn't know, Milestone 1 was already focused on just Java SE 8. So basically, we're going to just focus on Java SE 8 as the priority. Java SE 11, for many compatible implementations, it'll continue to be executed, but if problems arise, then Java SE 8 will take priority over Java SE 11. So that's the flip, and I'm in the process of getting a PR approved. So the release plan itself has not been updated yet. We just, you know, got it endorsed by the steering committee yesterday, and so I'm in the process of getting that through. And as always, with all of my updates, I do include links for the various mailing lists and the weekly calls that we have from a platform perspective. And we also do have a Slack channel in case people want to communicate that way. So that's what I had.
Thank you so much, Kevin. So let's see. David, do you want to
Sure.
take over and share your screen?
Yes, I will. Just quickly want to say thank you to Kevin for putting that together, and just for all the work you do on this release in general. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I visible?
Fully visible.
Okay, let me actually press the present button here so you can see the full screen version. All right. So I'd like to give a quick, short presentation about our industry and how the tools play into it, and how this release specifically addresses tools. And so basically, I would summarize by simply saying our strength is our ecosystem, right? So one of the reasons that Java has stuck around for 20 plus years, 25, they keep ticking by real fast. I swear I was just celebrating 20. Anyway, is because of the ecosystem built around the language itself. We've got 20 years of libraries. We've got 20 years of supporting products like IDEs. We got 20 years of monitoring tools. We have 20 years of cloud well, maybe not 20. We've got at least 10 years of cloud platforms. And so we have all these things built up around the language that adds to the strength. And that same thing is true for Jakarta EE, for Java EE, right? To write an app, you need an IDE that can do can help you with using the specific APIs. All the IDEs out there support the Java X, WSRS, for example. So those are the types of things that we need to make sure happen in our ecosystem. I will simply add, for example, like all the monitoring tools. How they work is they do bytecode analysis, and they look to see if you're using specific standard APIs like path or servlet, and then they're able to, see how often that thing is called. They would have no way of finding your code otherwise if they didn't have these standard APIs to look at to know how to do their monitoring generically. We have essential libraries like prime faces and omni faces, and very, very essential to our ecosystem. We've got a bunch of cloud platforms out there that support Tomcat and many other things. All of that is Java X namespace. And all of these things are going to break as soon as Jakarta EE9 is released, right? And our number one goal is to make sure that these things stay in our ecosystem and they make the change. So, Jakarta EE9, a lot of people complain that there's no new features, but the point of the release is to deliver to the industry an isolated namespace change in advance of the new features. So while we're working on new features, our tools industry and our ecosystem can start adapting to the change. And by the time a new feature hits the market, you're not waiting another 1 year for your tools vendors to support the release while you have features that you want to use, right? We want to give them a head start. So while we're developing new features on top of the Jakarta namespace, they could be updating their products to support the Jakarta namespace, and these things can happen in parallel. That's how we're going to go faster over the industry. So I like to call this, the perfect window. Basically we have made and manufactured with the Jakarta EE9 release, being a no new feature release and just a straight find replace change on the namespace. This is the perfect window for anybody to do a migration because you don't have to deal with any new features. You don't have to deal with a dramatically different server who changed a bunch of things to implement new things. If you're a tools vendor, you can do the namespace change, ship your product immediately, passing all the same tests that you passed before. You don't have to worry about implementing and supporting new API features. And so this is the moment where getting the namespace change done is cheapest, right? If you try to do it while absorbing a bunch of new features, that's when it's most expensive, because if something breaks, you won't know if it's because you did the namespace change wrong or because there's a new feature that broke something and you don't understand how the new API works. So there's all sorts of reasons that right now is the perfect window, Jakarta E9, to do the migration. But here's the risk, right? If you talk to an average tool vendor, they're going to say, we're customer led. We don't do anything unless we have people screaming at the top of their lungs for it. Then on the other side, you have users who think to themselves sometimes, well, there's no new features, so I'll wait till there's new features. And if the users aren't screaming, the vendors won't do anything, the tools vendors won't do anything, and it gets around to a certain point where even if you do want to adopt the namespace change, all of your tools that you need above the implementation won't be supporting the change, and then that will be your blocking factor, right? So if we're not careful, we're gonna weight ourselves and just basically waste this release. It'll be like the whole next year is completely, well, we'll just see how things go in 2021 and hope that everything's in better shape. But that is a recipe for disaster. And so we need to make sure that this doesn't happen. That's our number one goal, is to make sure that this is not our status over the next year, okay? So what we've been working on is coming up with a tools vendor initiative. We've made a data sheet that has, some information about the release, why it's the perfect window for doing the namespace change. Your product will stop working. This is not a new feature. Your product will stop working the second customers start adopting this new namespace. You won't be able to monitor that stuff. You won't be able to do all your hooks unless you take action. You're going to slowly lose the ability to support future versions of Tomcat, Jetty, all these things. So inform them. We want to gather support. What we would like is for the Jakarta EE9 release that we have some tools vendors in any of the categories, ideally one of each, IDE, cloud, monitoring, that come forward and say, we're going to support the namespace change. Here's a quote supporting it. Here is our roadmap and when we're going to, start implementing it. So people can know, all right, I should look for this version. That will be the one. Once we get that support, we're of course going to start putting it in our release announcements for Jakarta EE9. We'd also be looking to highlight the tools that do adopt the namespace change. Ivar mentioned recently that IntelliJ has, some ability to support, or will have shortly, the ability to support some of the Jakarta namespace. We'd like to be doing, little videos or little things with them on the update call or other avenues that show them demoing that product, right? And when we do these things, it's your job to be retweeting that as much as possible so you can pressure the people who do not take the namespace change seriously into taking the namespace change seriously. There's nothing that motivates a vendor more than seeing their competition get a whole bunch of attention they want, right? And so you guys are an essential part of some of these things. And so, the three things that we need you to be doing now with the Jakarta E9 release is one, don't wait. Don't be the person who goes, I'm not going to do any work with this because it doesn't have any new features, because your expectations are going to be sorely disappointed when you do try to use it and you find that there are no tools to support it because you haven't been making noise. They're customer led, right? They're led by you. So that's number two, is be noisy and demand support, right? So immediately go ask the vendors who you know are supporting your work and the things that you do at work, when are you going to support the namespace change? Most often they're going to say, what? I didn't know that applied to us. I thought that only applied to WebSphere, right? We're not WebSphere. They may not even really have an awareness of how much their product is dependent upon the namespace to function, right? So you need to go to them and say, are you aware of the namespace change, and when are you going to support me, because we're going to move to that at some point. We need your roadmap so we can make our roadmap. What's your roadmap? Put their feet to the fire. The last thing is, as you see things come out of the Twitter account of the Jakarta EE highlighting things that do support the namespace change, it is your job to retweet that as loudly as possible. You're not promoting that vendor, you're promoting the namespace change and shaming other vendors into supporting the namespace change. So don't think of it that you're furthering someone's commercial initiatives. You're furthering the ecosystem by applying pressure to people who do not take the namespace change seriously. So it is your job to really focus on the people who do take the namespace change seriously, and help create that public pressure that we need to keep the industry moving forward, and not in the, I'm going to wait on you, you're going to wait on me, we're both waiting on each other, we waste the whole next year. So we definitely don't want that. I didn't think of this before, but maybe we can make the data sheet available someplace on the website so that people can mail it to their vendors and say, what's your solution to this? Because it does have all the information, and customer pressure is better than any pressure we can apply. So, we'll try and find some way maybe to get that out. I don't know what your thoughts are, Shabnam and Tanya, but maybe there's some way we can distribute it.
Yeah, well, we can start brainstorming on that idea.
Yeah. Questions, comments?
I expect just because of the hiccup we had from moving from platform to platform, that we will get questions from the audience as the recording becomes available, and we'll try to make it available as soon as possible and start sharing with the ecosystem and invite people for questions and other ideas with regards to tools or anything else. But this is kind of the immediate, something that needs immediate attention. And just want to point out that this is requests really focused on the tools vendors. This has nothing to do with the support of the compatible products, which majority of our compatible products are actually prepared to go and are working towards going to Jakarta E9 and the namespace change. So just wanted to stress that out for the audience that is going to watch the recording. So
Yep.
David, thank you so much for this, and especially for the call out to the community. I guess we'll just, if you can stop sharing, and then we'll move forwards to, let me try then to share my screen. And then we'll just provide a quick, we'll go to our quick update. And yeah, I do remember we have a special guest here as well. So be patient a little bit longer. I'll go into the full screen for the presentation. So here is our update from Ivar, Shabnam, and Tanya. So today we'll talk about the request for feedback for milestone of Jakarta, milestone release of Jakarta E9. We'll just invite you to be aware of our compatible implementations. We'll talk about upcoming events. Super exciting news about the Jakarta community China. We will give you an update on survey, YouTube channel, and then invite you to be plugged in with us. And of course, keep in mind that we organized another type of call, Friends of Jakarta EE call, that is happening every 4th week of a month. So without going into any other details, Ivar, do you want to take over?
Sure. So David talked a lot about the tooling and what you can do by tweeting and making noise and showing that you're using this stuff and help kind of driving the attention of the community. The same applies for the specifications as well. It's not that cool to read a specification, but they need to be proofread. And if you have some time over and want to read a well-written PDF on the way to the airport or wherever you're going, or probably not to the airport these days.
Probably not to the airport.
But if you're sitting on the beach and want some good reading stuff, you can read a specification document. So that is, and any help with that is appreciated. You can also take you probably have some demo apps or small applications out there, or even your production app running on the JavaX namespace. Just try to transform it to Jakarta and see how it works, and run it on one of the compatible implementations. Kevin showed a long list of implementations you can use for now. And for example, if you're using something implemented on the servlet spec, you can try it on Tomcat, for example. Or if you're using some REST-based stuff, you can try Glassfish or OpenLiberty or the others. So try it out. Or and there was also the transformer you can use for actually doing the namespace change for you. So that is an Eclipse project you can try out. And of course, the last item, you can always make some noise, make some stuff going around, make a cupcake and take a picture, or even better, do as Marcus did and and create a video. So I don't know, Tanya, if you have the video available from Marcus.
Okay, so
or
let me just go off the presentation. Well, first of all, do you want to introduce Marcus?
yeah, sure.
I'll stop sharing.
So
Do you have the? I think you have the link already prepared for.
I do. So
Go for it.
Marcus did a pretty cool video where he creates a Jakarta E9 cupcake. I cannot play the sound now because it won't work with Zoom, but I'll play the video.
Oh, actually, it's the sound. We did hear the sound.
We're here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Put the
Let's hear
sound
you.
on, Ivar.
Yo, Ivor, this is what I call a cupcake. Congratulations for Jakarta E9 Milestone 1. Party on!
So that's pretty awesome. And Marcus, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, cool to see you. And thank you for the
Yeah.
video. And oh, sorry.
I like it.
Wrong button. So
Heavy metal.
so as you said, you create a lot of videos and you do a lot of cool content, and it's not only about cupcakes, but you actually in the rest of this video you went through some of the things in the milestone release, and particularly the Jakarta REST is of your interest. So you do a lot of videos and post them. So that's very useful.
Yeah, thanks that the video is pleasant to you. It's a lot of fun doing it. Actually, I try to give more fun in all the work we do, because Jakarta E9 really was a lot of work. And thanks for all that contributions we had and all the help from all the people in all over the world from all companies. And I thought in these times it's good to have some fun, and it was just fun doing the video, and I hope it helps to spread the word a bit.
Thank you so much,
and
Cargus.
you also and Marcus, you also discussed with me on Twitter yesterday that you had this idea that we should do some live coding on your YouTube channel. So we should set up and do some stuff. So we'll stay tuned and look out for some heavy metal with Marcus, and I'll do my best and try to be rock and roll as well.
Yeah, great. Let's do that. And after that, we have to do music, and then we have to cook something.
Yeah, and for this is a challenge for the community out there.
Yeah.
Be better than Marcus with your video and tell us how do you like Jakarta E9 milestone. So you know, thank you so much again, Marcus, and hopefully we'll come up with another. You two can come up with another interesting. Thing.
I just want to say that I really look forward to seeing you starting out already in a pretty high bar of production. And you know, people get significantly better after they've been doing it for a year. So, next year, I can't wait to see what you're putting out.
Yes.
Yeah, especially what we will cook next year. If it still be cupcakes or if we go with barbecue or something.
Yeah, well, we'll eventually graduate to something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and thanks for taking the time to be our special guest. So, Ivar, do you want to?
Sure. So I mentioned we have a lot of compatible products, and this is the list for Jakarta E8. So if you haven't tried out Jakarta E8 yet, this is the products you can try out there. And most of them are also on the list of becoming compatible on Jakarta E9 as well. So this is where you find it's on Jakarta E/compatibility. That's where you find all information and all products listed that are compatible. So I think that was what I had.
Okay, so let me share then my screen and continue from there. So then what I want to talk about a little bit is the upcoming events. So as we know, the live streaming or live, well, live streaming, live events over the web are necessity nowadays. So we just want to also highlight what's coming up in terms of the Jakarta One live stream events. So our, as Kevin earlier pointed out, our annual Jakarta One live stream in English is right now targeted for the September 16th. Call for paper is open till the end of July, and here is the link. Jakarta One live stream Brazil in Portuguese is scheduled for August 29. So again, another few days, the call for paper is open. And we are also preparing and working on, oh, this is the wrong date here. I'm providing you, oh, no, it's not the wrong date. It's the right date for call for papers for Jakarta One live stream in Spanish. So that event is targeted for October 12th, but the call for paper is open till August 10th. So just to get familiar, so jakarta1.org is the key link. You can see the past events and the upcoming events. So please go on the links, have the awareness of what's going on and what's coming up, and you know, submit your paper, and let's just make sure we make these events successful as well. Another thing that I want to mention is the Eclipsecon Europe. Sorry, Eclipsecon. The Europe is not in the name any longer. So that's another news with regards to the conferences that we're organizing. It's called Eclipsecon, and of course it's 2020. And the dates are in October from 19 to 22. 22nd of October. Please register. The event this time around is available online. It's free, and we're looking forward for you to see you in some of the sessions, particularly sessions dedicated to Jakarta EE and microprofile and anything cloud native Java related. I also want to point out that we are having the on the October 19th Community Day, and that is the community organizing sessions for the community. So have a click on the link, get informed about this event. And if there is any interest, definitely get in touch with me, and I can connect you to the people from the community who took upon them to organize the event for this year. Another exciting news is about Jakarta Community China. So we're super excited that there is interest about Jakarta in China and Chinese-speaking Java developers. So right now, the organization that is being that is now formed is really interested in getting more developers signing up. So please, this is the link to the forum in Chinese, so it doesn't mean too much to me, unfortunately. But whoever, anyone who is interested, please, and who can understand the text, please sign up. You know, stay tuned, and we'll tell you more about this organization as we get more information and as it matures. So that's everything that I wanted to talk about today. Shabnam, do you want to take over from your screen, or I should
Yeah,
be flipping? Yeah,
no,
sure.
I can share my screen. Thanks. All right, just give me a second. All right, so yeah, we launched the developer survey this year in April, and we closed the survey in May, but this was the third year basically that we're conducting the survey. Can you see my screen? Because it's loading here.
Yeah, we cannot.
Oh, okay, just let me see.
If you have any problems, I can share it on my end.
Okay, I think I'll let you to share. I don't know what's
Okay.
happening there.
I'll then just take over the presentation.
All right. Yes. So basically, the objective was to help the Java ecosystem stakeholders better understand the priorities and perceptions of the enterprise developer community. And the survey was very well received. We had great participation, over 2,100 responses. So thanks everyone for participating and contributing to this. And you should be able to basically access to the survey results here and download them or access it through the QR code. Next, please. And we also recently basically launched the Jakarta EE YouTube channel. Please check it out. You should be able to basically watch all of our Jakarta EE community calls, our tech talks, all videos related to Jakarta EE here, and also the replay of our virtual events. And if you're interested to basically send your videos to us, Jakarta EE related videos to us, for us to upload it in the community folder of the YouTube channel, you should be able to see the instructions in the About section. We are working on a more detailed guidelines for you to be able to follow and send your videos to us, but for now you can just follow the little instruction that we have on the channel. Next, please. And this is basically the list of all of our projects and community mailing list. Please check this out. And if you're interested in any of our projects, subscribe to these mailing lists and start getting engaged and getting involved. That's it from me, Tanya.
Oh, thank you, Shabnam. Oh, back to Ivar. Ivar, do you want to invite people for this call?
No, just go on and share it. So I just want to remind you that we have the second Friends of Jakarta monthly call coming up on July 22nd. That is next week. So it's at 11 Eastern time, and you can see the details about the calendar and the agenda there. And please join us there for a super informal talk and just share stuff and see what we can do for the Jakarta community.
Okay, and then as always, please connect. All these are links to various, whether it's the mailing list, Slack, blogs, tech talks. Be in touch and do help us to make Jakarta EE more successful and better going forward. In terms of the calendar links, I just kind of wanted to point out that you know, for the community calendar, you can find information here, and you can import information here. And that is everything that we have for today. So thanks everyone for bearing with us and staying with us. We will get this recording going and provide it to the community. And please let us know if you have any feedback, questions, and if you can further help us with the tools, the release, and any other events or material that we can share about Jakarta EE with the wider community. So with this, thanks to all the speakers, and as always, thank you to Shabnam and Ivar, and special thanks to Marcus Karg. That was super impressive, and looking forward to another one. Okay, bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.
Stay safe.